I built an AI agent that turns a bakery order into a full quote: materials, labor, markup, tax, and a Sheets PDF output, email delivery, and Google Sheets login. Not a toy demo, a complete workflow that someone could actually use. The system is modular, the steps are clean, and everything is easy to explain. The workflow is easy to follow, and each piece is replaceable if you want to scale it or customize it. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what the agent does, why this solves a real quoting workflow, what this shows about building practical AI systems, and how I would package and explain it if I was presenting it to a client or a team. So what is this agent and how do we build it? This is a basic pipeline that I've used to build our project. Let us zoom in into each of these nodes and find out how it works. The first node is a chat UI. This is the entry point. This chat UI gathers the requests in plain language, which is made in the backend of Mistral, and it helps ask for missing fields like quantity, due date, and currency. It keeps the conversation natural while enforcing the required inputs. Next, this is the FastAPI orchestrator. This is a backend controller. FastAPI owns the flow, so every step happens in a predictable order. That keeps the system reliable. The AI assists, but the backend decides and executes. So here we call this is the BOM API that you are using, billing of materials basically. We call the BOM API to translate a job type into materials and labor. It's basically a recipe engine that scales quantities based on the order size. Next is the materials database. We pull the unit cost of the materials from this database. This is the source of pricing, so that actual quote reflects the real ingredients cost. Next is our pricing engine. This is the math core. It adds labor, calculates the markup, and applies our VAT and produces the final total plus unit price. It also handles currency conversion if required. Next is the quote output. At this step, the quote is formatted into multiple outputs: Markdown for readability, text for plain text, and PDF for a client-ready document. And the final steps are, if email is enabled, the system automatically sends the quote to the customer with the PDF attached, or the workflow doesn't stop at calculation. The second one is the Google Sheets login in parallel that gives us a simple audit trail for sales tracking, reporting, and follow-ups. Let's start with the entry point of the UI, because everything connects through this file. UI.py is the entry point that ties the UI together. It creates the FastAPI app that registers each route, so public pages, admin tools, chat, assets, all live on the world server. It's essentially the routing map for the UI layer. Next, we have got the UI routes public.py. It handles what users are, or what they see. The landing page is a single HTML template with a hero messaging, animated background, and an admin overlay for pricing edits. The chat route serves the chat UI shell with a message area, input box, client-side script that sends messages to the backend and renders replies. It also injects download buttons once a quote is generated. Next, we have got the UI routes chat.py. This is the heart of the AI experience. It connects to Mistral, constructs the system prompt, guides the conversation to the assistant, collects the missing fields step by step. It includes validation for due dates and email format checks. It can answer quick pricing questions, estimate unit cost, and only generate the quote after explicit confirmation. I have implemented dynamic FX rates, so quotes can be generated in different currencies like US dollars, euros, etc., with clear handling when a rate is missing. Next, we have got the UI routes admin.py. This is the admin pricing workflow. It handles login with secure cookies, returns the material list from the SQLite, and updates unit cost with proper validation so prices can be adjusted without touching code. Next, we have iRoutes assets. It serves the CSS and animation scripts like Three.js and Vantawaves that I have used in this project, and provides the download route for generic quote files like Markdown, text, PDF. That keeps the UI lightweight without a separate static server. The last but not the least, we've got UIUtils.py, which contains shared helpers. It signs and validates the admin cookie, wraps pages in a consistent HTML template so the UI feels cohesive across rules. And that's the chat layer. It keeps the conversation natural while the backend enforces structure, validation, and reliable code generation. Next is the BOM API, which is the recipe engine that everything else depends on. First, we have got the app.py. Basically, BOM means billing of materials. This file defines the billing of materials API. It lists the supported jobs types and the peer unit materials and labor for each one. The job type endpoint tells us the UI which can be quoted, and the estimate scales the recipe by quantity and returns the full materials list plus labor hours. There's also a simple health endpoint so Docker can check the service is running. Next, we have the Docker file. This package gets the API into a container. It installs the Python dependencies, copies in the app and assets, and exposes ports 8000 and runs the API with Unicorn. That makes the recipe engine consistent and easy to run anywhere. Docker Compose to YML. This is a quick startup for the BOM API. It builds the container, maps port 8000, and adds a health check that pings health so Docker can monitor it. So that's the BOM API, a clean recipe engine packaged and runnable with Docker. Next is the pricing engine, which is where the real math happens. The pricing.py files loads config, pulls material cost from the database, handles currency conversion if needed, and calculates labor, markup, VAT, and the final total. It also formats the quote and generates the markdown text and PDF outputs. If or Google Sheets are enabled, it can send the quote and log the details automatically. So this is our main pipeline. We have a CLI version which is called the agent.py. It walks the user through the same inputs in the terminal, prints a summary of the totals, and calls the same pricing function to generate the files. The UI and CLI both share one pricing core, which keeps everything consistent. Right, it's time for the demo. So we'll be running this app now. Right, so what we have got here is we'll try and start Docker first so that we can get the BOM API started. So there's one terminal open and our API is all sorted. Now in another terminal, we'll start our app. Right, so our app is live on this localhost site. Right, so this is our UI. It's a dynamic UI with Vanta.js on the background, and if you look at the glance, you'll see this admin login button here. So this is basically to change the value of the tables that we have. There we go. And we have all this material cost that we can see. We can update here without changing our code base. So let's log out of here and start our... Here is our chat UI. So basically this is backed by Mistral, so it makes our UI very human friendly. Right, let us ask if we can order 25 cupcakes. Yes. Let's try 24 December 2024. See, because of our validation, it says the date is in the past. So I will put the right date now. Right. Yes, that is correct. The company name can be Nationwide. Your name is email address is that is correct. Currency, let us try and use USD. So it'll be using LifeFX and we'll be converting the currency into so the markup should be 30 by default and the percentage VAT should be 20. Put some chocolates in there. Yes. So as you can see, we have a summary of the quote that we have, and let's confirm this. Sorted. Yes, and as you can see, our quote has been generated and has been emailed to us. I'll show that in a second. Let's see, download the PDF, and we have got this bill of materials, all without any human intervention. Right, let's check the email out. As you can see, we have received an email. I've used my own personal email to integrate with the AI. So this is our quotation. And also let's go to the sheets. As you can see, the sheet has been updated with all my details automatically. So yeah, that's basically it. That's our UI all complete. So finally, for deployment, I used Render. I created a new web service connected to the GitHub repo and chose Docker as the environment so that the BOM API runs exactly as it does locally. So then I added environment variables in Render like BOM API, materials DB path, and SMTP or Google Sheets. Now I'm going to show you how I did it. As you can see, the manual deployment process has started. Should be live now. Yep. We've got our bakery pricing tool on render.com. I've used Render to deploy our whole project. This completes our production cycle. Anyone will be able to use this service from anywhere. Alright, that's the final full walkthrough. We started with the UI and the chat flow and look at the BOM API, pricing engine and code generation. We also covered email delivery, Google Sheets logging and how it can be deployed. The key idea is simple. The AI gathers inputs, the backend data does the math, and system output a client-ready guide. Thanks for watching.